Should I go get my camera? I mean my computer? Yeah.
Ooh. Let's full screen. So the preview will have like 15 to 20-second delay. That's what's up in the middle there, which is unfortunate. But my mind can't comprehend how to run it differently without.
Look, my mind can't comprehend what you're doing
How do we
already.
not have more boxes? I really just need to turn one HDMI to two. Like,
That's
all
the
I
extent
need.
of it, just a splitter, right?
Yeah.
And is that the monitor of what's going on live stream?
Yes. So that's what live people would see. So you just sat down. That's the delay.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about in the room? What are we going to talk about when I start tweeting this out? And where do I get the link?
DTLTtoday.com/lab. I think just saying, like, you know, the possibilities, you know, like the technology that's in there, how we do it, and maybe start to imagine some of the possibilities, right?
Yeah.
Let me just try this one again.
right, we're live. I don't know if people are watching or not, but I always assume nobody's watching. Are we recording?
YouTube records.
It records automatically?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Sure not. You go back to that URL and it goes.
It just goes.
It just goes.
It just goes. It just goes. Like to hear that. Okay, let's do another search. I'm going to search for the UMW ITCC hashtag.
I think you got it right there. UMW ITCC.
Oh, is that it? Right above me?
No. What you just said.
Yeah.
UMW
I was just, sir, I mean, I'm,
looking at it. I guess.
yeah, looking at it.
I thought you meant.
It's actually used.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Although it's more fun, I feel like, to search Convergence Center.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Because the people talk about it?
People who talk about it don't use the hashtag. It can be fun.
Yeah, it's cool. You just search it across all of Twitter?
Yeah. Few false positives, not too many. Is
La.
what kind of hats you have?
Me?
Yeah. Got any baseball caps?
No, but I have a porcupine hat.
Yeah. Don't want to damage it with what I want to do.
Oh, are you gonna tape something?
Yeah.
Let me see. Otherwise, it's just a portrait. If it's duct tape, just duct tape it to your head.
Yeah. Just doesn't leave a whole lot to doesn't leave a whole lot of space to. Ready? Is anyone watching?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Messed up. I tweeted this. Makes me
Great hearings.
Come running.
Yeah, they'll come. If we build it, it is no dream. My tweeting first.
Do you have the live stream up on yours? Are you looking at it at all?
Ah, No. Should I? I don't know, guys. I don't think it is anything yet. DTLT. I didn't know.
You don't think it is anything yet?
No, we don't have anything set up.
Well, it's us talking right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, quality TV.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting here looking at the freaking computer,
Playing with Twitter.
and people
That's
are
what you're
like,
doing.
this is like Twitch does tweak on Pokemon, whatever that was. Twitch and
I'm not
Pokemon.
in the Twitch world because I don't have a 9-year-old boy.
'Cause- yeah, Twitch is awesome. Just as a heads up.
Do they do shows
Look at this.
on there?
Jonathan Levin comes in right after you leave, and look who goes over the look who goes over the goal line. Hey, hey!
Glad you could make it. My assistant
And
just left.
Look, you must know, Tim, that was not my doing.
I will say, while this broadcast may not be all that great so far,
Oh, it will
we're
be.
about to take it up to 11.
I think we are about to take it up to 11. If you're just tuning in, let me just tell you, the best is yet to come.
What I like about it is we're about to talk about like all the fancy technology that we have.
And we have a lot
Oh,
in this new
We
building.
do,
A lot.
especially in this room.
My teeth look pretty good.
And yet,
They're really white.
um,
I got them cleaned the other day. Look at that. White teeth.
despite
I'm missing one back here, though.
all of that
My
technology,
years of Coca-Cola.
there are some things that you still have to DIY. So, this is why people want to tune in. It's not.
This is, yeah, come on. Where are you people?
Yeah.
You know, we really need more.
How much does a helmet cam cost anyway?
We need more people on our damn stream. This is web
How
TV. All right, let's see.
how mad would Andy get if this goes?
Oh, we don't have full screen. We do have one.
Oh, hold on. Full screen of the head?
Oh,
What
no.
is it? Full screen of, oh,
us.
I've got the side by side.
You do. I was about to tell you that.
But but it's black.
The cheap
Why is
seats.
the
The other one black? Look, let me look.
this
You
PC
think
keeps
this is
going.
not going to be a good? You think it's not going to be a good show, right? You're like,
It's
oh,
gonna
I don't
be
know.
Great.
Just listen. It's going to be a great show. This is going to really be a great show. Look, we have new butterfly little holes in
I
our
just want to
thing.
understand the power settings.
See, like you can put your fingers in there. It's like, ah, where's my butterfly? I lost my butterfly. There's a 20-second delay, so don't worry. 20-second delay. I lost my fingers, right? And then you can pull like an Uncle Fester. Like, see, this is like, look, this building has all sorts of things for your fingers. Right, look at that. Ta-da! And I guess this technology does something too, but I'm really interested in the butterfly table for losing your fingers.
Butterfly?
Isn't that what this is called? Butterfly?
Oh, yeah. I haven't been impressed.
You don't like the butterfly tables? Oh! Oh no! Is that you looking at you?
Hold on. We got this. It's coming.
Because I really. It's coming. Look, this is gonna be a great stream. Look, this is the future. This is the classroom of the future. It looks just like a table and computers and a wall behind me. But sit tight. Sit tight. Get ready. Get ready. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. This is the future. 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 The future is now. Now. What's going on over there?
I don't know. Like, I
See
thought
that?
I looked
That's
at
what the
every
future
time
sounds
I
like.
pull up the live stream,
Look, Tim, I'm kind of having a crisis of faith myself. I'm wondering,
Go on.
I'm wondering whether what's going to happen here. Are we gonna make it through this?
Make it through it. I might have to have you reboot my head, but
You gonna reboot your head? Did you run out of batteries? Tom Fullerton retweeted this, my tweet. Thanks, Tom. And I think you're right. This is web TV. This is the future of. This isn't just me in front of a camera talking. And if Tim had his act together, we would be giving you a tour right now of this space. But, I guess that's not going to happen.
the GoPro thing working.
I'm
So
not
now every time I go
gonna.
to this live stream, it plays like 3 seconds way back at the beginning.
This is me acting out the butterfly table.
The most entertaining
Look.
part so far is watching you put that on.
You
One.
caught that part? Oh yeah, because it was in front of the video.
But you're still not full screen.
No. Can't we go full screen? It's pretty easy to go full screen.
Yeah, just hit full screen.
I did. Maybe this will.
There's a delay.
Oh, okay.
That's what
But it's not. Oh, I see. You're seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah. It looks good though. The clapping of the hands.
There's 5 people there, but you're not monitoring.
There's 5 people.
You didn't monitor the chat, well, including me.
Oh yeah.
Is the chat good?
Well, you gotta be on the YouTube page.
Ah, you gotta actually be on the YouTube page.
Alright, that's good. That's you clapping 20 seconds ago.
Yeah. There's 7 people watching now.
Alright, here's the only thing.
Look,
and I think we're
Tim,
gonna be
actually,
ready.
we do have something, but Tim, for you loyal watchers out there, Tim put this together, and then as he was going over the goal line, he stumbled,
Like the display.
and so he's kind of picking himself up.
Oh, I set it to 1 minute.
Tim set it to 1 minute. That was
Instead
part of the
never.
problem.
You know, Apple, down means
That's awesome.
Trying to save your energy.
See, I can't sign in. Oh, can I join the chat? So you're in. I can't join the chat on YouTube because I was kicked out of YouTube. I don't have a YouTube account. That's another story.
How do you still
That's
have?
another story.
You're out of YouTube, but you still have like Google Drive and all of that.
They just take away your YouTube. They don't take away. I'm about to get kicked off Vimeo. I downloaded all my videos this time.
Well, this
But
time,
they're
yeah.
running me off Vimeo. Look at this. We
should
actually
thought
have
ahead of
something.
time.
And we have full screen now.
There we go.
So I want to welcome you to DTLT. This is kind of, what you saw was kind of like the pre-party. And
You realize that they're gonna hear you say that 20 minutes after it already went full screen, so you sound very
20 minutes?
not 20 minutes, 20 seconds or so. Since there's a delay, you just saw it go full screen.
I saw it go full screen there, and that's what I'm looking at is your computer. So I'm right. Because that's delayed too. Sometimes, Tim, I don't think you have full
I'm just saying, if you respond to the live stream,
I'm
you're
not
gonna be
responding to anything.
20
Why are you being
seconds.
mean?
Look,
Listen, assistant.
do you see?
I see. Look, okay. So what Tim has on
Where's
his
the
head?
where's the
show them what you have
dedication?
on your head. Where's show
It's
them,
coming.
But
Again,
show them.
again with the 20-second delay, they're already seeing it now.
Tim, you remind
I'm
me
just
of.
going to talk to you. I look at the thing on your head. I like it.
Is it backwards?
No,
No,
it's
straight
perfect.
up,
Yeah,
okay.
you're good.
I don't think I checked before.
Tim, you remind me of Little Rascals, like when the kids get the toothaches.
Right.
They put the things around there. All right. So
How far do
let's-
you think this Wi-Fi goes? Like, can I walk around the building? No. It's connected to the electric. I could walk in our office though, right?
I think so.
Our feed.
Yeah.
All right. Let's introduce. Look, we have an audience.
Okay.
Yeah, but what happened to our
Yep.
feed?
What computer is that? Oh, my laptop. Is that everybody's feed?
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, it's whatever
See.
is on YouTube. The other thing is, that do you know if there's a way to build in the
I
chat
wonder
to
if
the
that's,
DTLT page?
Do I not have projector 2 as content? I had it swapped. No, they can still hear us. We just
Okay.
went dark.
They can still hear us.
Yeah.
So we're just dark. So this is actually radio on the television.
Well, by the time they see this, we'll be back up, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're right, man.
See,
You know your
except-
computers.
I just tapped the keyboard. Does that make a difference?
Most.
I think it does. I think you just pause VLC. The live stream.
It was paused before I hit the keyboard? No?
I had this working.
You're running this.
I think the GoPro over wireless is flaky. What do you think?
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's unfortunate because this was a really good setup in terms of my head.
Maybe we should just watch the setup on your head.
Yeah, that's why. It's about 5-second delay or something. Alright.
So my question is, can you embed the YouTube feed on the DTLT Today page
is.
with the chat?
Oh, with the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, because otherwise, I mean, if they click on, what I did was I clicked through to YouTube and you can then
Well,
get
I
to the
would,
chat.
And audio cut out too. So it keeps cutting out. Tom Fullerton, thank you, Tom, for the feedback.
The
It
audio's cutting out?
seems like it. From what I hear from YouTube. Tom Fullerton reporting in
That's interesting.
remotely.
Alright, yeah, the GoPro wireless is unfortunate.
Damn it.
Alright, what's the longest HDMI cable we can get away with?
I've got a 25 footer.
Can I just walk around this room with 25 feet?
Oh, well, that's a standard HDMI. You need a mini, right?
Yeah. So
I
what I
haven't-
have is probably the longest.
I don't
Well,
know anything longer than like 6
Better
feet
than
or whatever.
nothing. Alright, this is fine. What I'll do.
I can't take you seriously.
Good.
What are you gonna do?
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, Jim.
I'm listening.
I'm gonna dance.
Not away.
So
You gonna put it in your head?
we can keep this here for now. Now I don't know about the audio thing. When we're ready to do the tour,
Yeah.
I'll have you do the assist
Okay.
and plug me in,
Yes. Okay, come over
and
here.
then I'll just sort of.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's
So
the
we're
other,
gonna walk
here's,
around.
here's the other problem.
What's that?
We don't have the skeleton cases for the GoPros, so you don't have a hole right now for the HDMI into the GoPro.
Oh. Because of this plastic thing?
Right. I've got to order skeleton cases,
See?
which have all the holes in the
Oh.
cases.
This is
so
very
you can
complicated. That's what happens when you duct tape a camera to your head.
Whoa.
Show the audience what you're doing. Let's get this on.
They're getting it.
Now he looks like a rabbi.
Because this would be even not. Exactly. I've seen him, but I don't believe him.
I thought the gaffer's tape wasn't supposed to stick.
Oh, you have hair on you. Oh my.
I got sideburns. That's what I hit.
Generally,
It didn't hurt at all, and then I'm
Skin.
like,
I think skin is the issue.
Ooh.
no, the skin was fine. It was when I hit the
Do
sideburns.
you want me to pull it really fast?
No.
Come here.
It's better if I do it myself. Thank you.
That would be awesome. You cheek.
We've got great stuff in this
We
building.
have great stuff. The tape comes recommended. But let's talk about it, Tim. I think we have
We
11 people on the street.
Shut up.
I swear to God. So we're wasting their time. We got
Well-
to show them we respect them.
I guess they wasted their time. It's Friday afternoon, and they chose to tune in to.
You're going to insult your
Our
audience?
live
If we have
stream.
9, I won't be surprised in about 2 seconds after what that you just said to these people. They could
I'm
do other
providing
things.
the
Opportunity
comedy
cost.
relief.
Opportunity cost. Let's talk about the building. People are interested. We got an incubator
Shut the
classroom.
whole thing down. That wouldn't
Second
be
to none. this classroom.
Is the audio still cutting out though?
Let's ask.
GoPro
GoPro hat is very stylish.
See?
I think they can see the hat. I don't know if they can hear us. I'll throw that question
That's the
out to
important
Twitter.
part,
If
so.
you guys can hear us, that would be great to know. Because we're going to go on and start
Wi-Fi.
within a second or two to give you a tour of this new build. Where we're sitting is we're sitting in a room called the incubator classroom. And this classroom is attached to the new DTLT suite. August 1st, our entire group moved into a new building called the Information and Technology Conversion Center. It was in planning for 7 years. That planning was really driven by people like Jeff McClurkin, Martha Burtis, Andy Rush, Jerry Slazak, and many other people, John Morello, who just kind of really had the vision for this space. And 7 years later, we're actually sitting in it. And it is a state-of-the-art technology building. And we have a suite on the 4th floor. It is a beautiful suite. It is a beautiful building. We'll be talking about it a lot over the next year or so. We'll be having some people coming here from around the country. We'll have a hackathon here about Reclaim Your Domain in November. So we're going to try and start kind of highlighting some of the things. But this is our first real kind of foray into getting into this incubator classroom, which is what it sounds. We don't schedule this classroom for regular classes. This is actually a tricked out classroom that has more technology and more possibilities than a group like ours, which arguably we're pretty technically savvy, are somewhat overwhelmed. And Tim really dug in the last 3 days and started playing around with what's possible because I'm trying to use some of this in the internet course.
Yeah.
And so we were starting to think about what was possible. So Tim started pulling apart the rack, started kind of getting into the kind of more abstract possibilities and see if we could put them in some concrete possibilities that we could now start playing with in this room. And why this room is so overwhelming, because for like 3 or 4 years, we were using a kind of a mobile kit set with a green screen, which is actually in the corner of this room. I mean, it was kind of a DIY, down and dirty setup. Now it's like someone gave us keys to a Lamborghini, and we're trying to figure out how to drive it because it is a really remarkable room.
It's like someone gave us the keys to the Lamborghini, and the first thing I decided to do was make it run on vegetable oil.
Exactly. It's to take out the engine.
Totally.
It's like, so that's where we are now. And Tim, why don't you talk a little bit about the room, what you've been doing, and why people might be interested in watching us.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll get the video going in a minute so that we can actually walk around and people can see this. And let us know about the audio situation.
Yeah, I'll check right now.
I'm hearing it right along in my
Yeah.
office.
Oh, you are? Okay, good.
Yeah, your monitor,
Sort of, yeah.
audio monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this room, the biggest piece of this is it's about flexibility. It's not a single defined space. It's not, any one thing. All of these tables, all these chairs are on wheels. There are 8 floor boxes that have all
Yeah.
kinds of inputs.
Yeah.
And I'll
Oh.
actually show you all in a minute, but there's several different LCDs that we can plug in different places. And a lot of it comes to this control panel, although we found that sometimes where the programming fails us, just finding the right boxes and cables and rewiring things ourselves is working pretty good. So, like you said, we've just started playing with this room to imagine some of the possibilities. And really, I would say the first 2 weeks, it was more about, we do a lot of class demos. And
Yeah.
so we just set this up as a standard classroom where we could do domain of one's own and various things.
Bring
We
students
didn't-
in, bring faculty
Yeah,
in.
we're so busy at the beginning of the semester with all that kind of stuff that we didn't have time really, I don't think, to get in here and think, well, like, how can we use it? And some of it wasn't
Yeah.
even done yet. So
This is the
in
first
that
week for
regard,
that.
this is the first time where like we're starting to, really play with it. It's still not all done. We've got more
No.
coming and more
We
that
just
needs
started.
to be fixed. Yeah, but it's a lot of cool stuff. Why don't we?
One of the things to start with, maybe, I mean, we'll go around, but like, for example, what you're seeing right now is a Crestron switcher box, right?
Right.
And it was anchored to a podium that you'll see in a second that's to the right of me. But what Tim did is, rather than keeping it there, when we teach in here, or when you teach, you want the Crestron here because you can't see them yet, but you will see them. There's like 5 or 6 screens all over the room. And that's the control box, not only for the screens, but for the actual cameras. So what Tim did is we actually realized that it's a Cat5 cable, just a straight up Ethernet cable. And if we turn on a connector closer to the table, not at the podium, we could actually make that mobile, and you could bring that. So students could use it, the faculty member could use it as they're sitting at a table like this, and you'll get a better sense of the room in a second. It was cool. So like we're just starting to say, okay, does this need to be there? And then we have a whole rack of inputs and outputs and high-end gear that you'll see shortly that Tim has started to pull the wires out a little bit.
You might not be able to reach all the way to
No,
the
we
rack.
might not be able to reach there. So that's just kind of a context for what this room is. This is an experimental room. We have 3 other classrooms in the building that have a lot of this technology in there that the faculty are kind of still like, okay, how do we use this? So this is our room to figure it out and then bring it to them and show them. And what I'm really interested in, Tim and I have been talking about the last couple of days, is we're used to kind of building these kind of blogging platforms and debate of one's own in these virtual spaces, which we love and we've had fun with. But now we're in a situation where we can actually hack a physical space and actually make this space in some ways virtual. It will have its own IP address that when you're in here, it can go out and broadcast, which we're doing right now. We're working on the sound, working on different camera angles, kind of making this a dynamic space that we can capture and share, and then think about how we can do some experimental teaching in here. I heard, and I'm not sure, that Dr. Oblivion has been very interested in this room as a potential future lecture hall of sorts. So we'll see. So where are we going now, Tim?
Well,
See, we're good. They laughing for
yes,
us.
lots of fun things going on here.
Yeah.
Well,
we should show them. We won't be able to show them
sometimes-
the chairs.
See, just like that, I made this a makerspace too. You pull out a pair of scissors.
That's right.
I needed a spot for the HDMI cable to go in. So the first thing that we need to do is show you around. And unfortunately that, what do they call a PTZ camera, the pan, tilt, zoom,
Yeah.
or whatever, it's, you know, those cameras up on the
We
wall.
have 2 of them.
One's not working.
One's
The
not
one
working.
that is, that's pointed at us, you saw that I've controlled it a little bit. However, because some programming is wrong on here, if I hold it down for more than a couple seconds, it'll just keep on going
Yeah.
right past me, and it, you know, so it doesn't really follow along that well. And so it's not, and it's also kind of slow, and I like to speed things up a little bit. So
You do.
I
You did a
do.
good job at the beginning of
I
this
do.
one.
I want
Of
you.
this show.
I want you to see what I see. I want you to be my eyes, my ears, and so let's go along for a ride together. I'm going to turn this on.
Very poetic.
There, you know. I'm going to turn this on, and I'll show you these screens in a minute. These screens have inputs on them,
Yeah.
and one of them is HDMI, which you can get out of the GoPro. And we have not a long cable, but you know, long enough for me to maybe get to the center of the room or jump on the tables
Yeah.
and sort of like, you know, do one of those and move around and
Absolutely.
talk a little bit about the space. And
Like
then
a
we can-
miner's hat with a camera. Like a miner's hat where they have that in that little.
Oh, right, the
Yeah.
light thing.
That's right.
Or if you're a
That's right.
plumber. Right.
Plumber.
Got it.
Or miner.
Minor.
Miners need it more than plumbers.
I didn't know people still mine things.
They do.
Okay.
That's why Minecraft's so popular. Miners are big, particularly in Brazil, in Argentina,
Good. So the first thing that I'm
or
going to
Chile.
do. Chile. All right. I'm going to switch to the side by side so that
Yeah, that's a good idea.
we can have, you know, this camera up here, but now what you're also seeing is what's on one of the 2 projectors that's in the room. And we can send anything to that projector and you'll be able to
We
see
should probably
it.
do picture in picture so they can see it cleanly. The side by side will be a smaller pic, so maybe we should do picture in picture.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll go small,
Right.
and then you'll be up working around. So the
Gotcha.
side by side is perfect. Like we're in side by side probably, you can see it. But we're gonna move to picture in picture, and when that happens, you'll see the room in a second.
Although it
and
almost
then we'll
looks,
be.
yeah, looks like it's black. I'm gonna try switching to content being projector 1. Is it because it's my Air Media that it's black?
Mm,
Oh, am I not connected to Air Media anymore?
that could
No,
be it.
I'm up there. Why is
Yeah,
it
you
going
are.
out? BMW. Oh, yeah, we're good. Maybe. Goes in, goes out.
Do you see something there?
Yeah, back on Flash for a little bit, but yeah, there's the content of my laptop,
Yeah.
which is what we're gonna send out here in a minute.
Good. I
So-
think it's working now.
Yeah. Get to it? Get to it.
Get to it.
Oh, it's a little recursion going on. I like that.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna try this.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch for the recursion.
what we're gonna do is I gotta get this HDMI port at least somewhat close enough for us to get in here
Yeah.
with it.
We
And
know there's recursion going on. Don't worry.
So,
We're gonna fix that in a second.
as I said, lots of really fancy technology in the building.
Very fancy.
Yeah. This is what I wanted.
Yes.
However, helmet cams apparently didn't make the list.
Yeah, we should have borrowed Darcy's bike helmet cam.
Oh, he has one?
He has an awesome one.
Is that what he? That's not all he takes pictures
I
with.
mean, I
though,
remember
right?
he took it back in the day. No, I don't think that's all he takes pictures with. His bike helmet cam.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect. We got a little cap on that.
Turn-
All right.
still on? Yeah.
All right, Timmy.
All right. So-
we got a paying customer audience.
Paying customers. All right, here. We can do one of these numbers here, and we'll strap that in there. It's really good. So there's my little helmet cam action, and Jim's gonna plug me in.
Oh, I am gonna plug you in. buddy.
Uh,
I'm gonna turn you on and plug you in. Okay. Hold on. Yep. Okay, here we go.
Oh, little feedback.
Is that right? hold on.
Oh, this is.
Wait, what the hell is that? There it is.
If I
You're
wasn't
good.
okay. Now, flip this over there. Get rid of some of this recursion. So I'm gonna switch this to the other HDMI port. Hopefully,
Hopefully what you'll see is
ooh, a little bit of tape.
a little
in
bit
my
of hair.
Yeah.
So where's your hair?
So I want to say.
You're gonna put your hair down.
Turn it off.
What are your hair? You got this little
No, it's this-
swiggy thing right here.
Look, I don't mind the hair as much as that tape. I got the tape out of the way.
Okay. You good?
So yeah, I'm good.
All right.
All right,
Good.
it's good.
You're all good.
Now,
Let's see, how's the hair?
question with this is going to be if I move this, how far can I move this? Maybe to here?
Probably.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Now, can you jump on there?
Onto the
Table.
onto the table. Yeah. Oh wow. Butterfly tables.
Yeah, they're not that strong.
Not that strong. A little concerning. Just move this one out of the way.
I think that's a good idea.
So, and they can see picture in picture, right? You had the thing going up. It's a little
Yeah,
delayed
it will
on
be.
ours.
Yeah,
but-
it'll come up in a second. They'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, there it is. So, what I'm looking at right now is what our view was. So we've got that pan-tilt zoom camera up on the wall, that's what it is. And could you actually zoom out on the Crestron just a tiny bit?
Yeah.
I want to give a widescreen shot of this. There you go. Yeah.
Look at you.
You know, yeah, so you can see a little bit of what we're seeing on here.
Yeah.
You know, both in the video as well as the one strapped to my head.
Yeah.
But if I look over here, and I'll talk a little bit about this. So that's one of the screens. You see another one over there near the lecture area thing. Lectern? Is that what they call that? We have 4 screens like this. And actually, you'll notice these floor boxes down here, and this one's plugged into one back there, and there's actually going to be 4 on this side, and then there's going to be 4, one over there, and then all along on that side as well. And we can plug these screens in.
I wonder if you don't take a moment, because I think we're picture in picture, and I don't think they're seeing the full screen. They just started seeing the full screen.
Right, but they're delayed.
No, but they just started seeing it. Because it was picture in picture, and you were the small one. Your feed
Oh,
was
really?
the small one, so now you got to start fresh. Pretend like you're starting fresh.
So this video was the largest, what
Yes,
you're saying.
exactly.
Ah, okay.
So now we can start. I think they're seeing
Yeah.
it now.
Now you're seeing the better view, although this was a pretty good view.
You lying
laid
on
out
the
on
table
the
was a
table.
pretty beautiful view.
Right. At least they caught that, you know, as
At
large
least.
as they could have. So that you all can see now a little bit bigger and wider. So there's the screens.
This is where we started the video, right in this
these-
space.
These are actually on wheels, and we can grab these. Got handles on the side here, and move these around. And so those can be plugged into the floor, and they've got a couple.
But they don't
different-
see your GoPro.
at all.
No, because it's, look what it's on. Come here. You can't come here.
Oh, is it the live stream that
it's
it's
a
on?
live stream.
Ah, so what you want to do is switch projector 1 to be floor box 2?
Projector 1 to be floor box 2. I can do it because I have the technology, people. I
Yeah.
can make floor box 2 projector 1.
See, there's a danger to having all this technology.
Idiots like me don't know how to use it. Projector 1, floor box 2. There you
I
go.
think it was coming. It flashed for a minute.
I think it's going to come.
Yeah,
It's going to take a little bit, but you're going to get it.
okay. I trust you.
Well, don't. I'm watching the feed.
Floor box 2 is the one you chose?
Floor box 2, projector 1. I switched it quick.
Maybe try floor box 1. Could the numbers be off a little bit? No? I'm tethered, or I'd come over there.
Floor box 4,
Well, I know we
floor
labeled
box
it. I know
2.
we labeled it right.
So then this is floor box 2. That's where the GoPro's coming at it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm putting in projector 1. Am I wrong? Should it be projector 2?
No, because I think I switched the content. Now they're both black. They still just see me tiny.
So if they're both black,
Try just for my satisfaction switching projector 1 to floor
you know what
box
the
1.
problem might be? The recorder controls. I put it full screen.
Full
It's
screen's
showing
fine.
live stream, but it's showing the live stream.
That's why we really need a preview of what's going out to everyone.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
agree.
delay is really throwing everything off.
Swap, full screen, side by side. Let me just see what side by side looks like.
Side by side is going to have both. So it's probably a good option, at least for the first little bit, because you know for sure
Yeah.
that something's showing up on there, even if it's just our video on one side and black on the other, which it is right now. Content 1 is basically projector 1, and content 2 is projector 2. So whichever one in the recording, I think it's content 1.
It's nothing. Yeah, but nothing's showing up on the side by side. We're content 1, projector 1. Camera rear. Nothing
nothing-
showing up side by side. Unfortunately.
Right, but you're not understanding me.
No,
Like,
you're right. I'm
you
not.
don't understand how much of a delay there is between what you're seeing when you hit that button.
Oh, I'm understanding
Half
because
a
I'm
minute.
watching it.
Yeah, so like half a minute or something. At some point, it's going to show up, but it's going to be like 30 seconds past when you've hit
I know
five
what
other
you're talking about.
buttons.
Look, I understand that. I'm just telling you what you
Stop
don't want to understand.
pressing the buttons after you hit side by side and
I
give it a second.
didn't press buttons. It's
Unbelievable.
side. Look, your setup didn't work.
My setup's good.
No, it didn't work. And I bet you right now we have no people left on the stream.
That's
'cause
fine.
Your setup. No, it's not fine. You promised a good and you didn't deliver.
Where's
not
our new
fine.
media specialist?
We do not look.
Oh, that's right, coordinator. I needed someone to help me coordinate.
Coordinators, right.
What's on the live stream right now?
Just side by side of you and me.
Oh, wait a
arguing.
second. So it's not black?
Part of it's black and part of it's.
Part of it has something. That's all I was trying to say, was that you were saying it was all black, and it wasn't.
He was saying it's all black. Andy, it's not all black, Andy.
The GoPro's not showing up because projectors don't have anything on it, and that's what they need to see. That's the other side of the side-by-side.
So
Can I have
where
the
does-
Crestron? How far does that cable
So
go?
where does it go?
How far does that cable go for the Crestron?
Tell me where it goes.
Please try floor box 1 on projector 1.
Floor box 1. I thought it was floor box 2.
Our label says that, and sometimes it's right, but
Alright.
that relies on their programming to actually be correct, and it's not. So now they can see my GoPro on one side, and they'll see our video on the other.
Maybe.
Oh, it's true. Give it like 30 seconds for them.
Why didn't you tell me this in the beginning then?
You weren't listening to me. I think if
I
we go
was
back to
listening.
tape, we'll find.
I
Who's
think
right?
you'll find that I was right, you were wrong. All right. So which one? Oh, you're right. So which one do we go to full screen with?
That's a good question. Side by side now, I don't know when you go full screen which one it's going to be. So try one of them, and then let's just give it half a minute, and if it's the wrong one, you can hit swap.
Okay, let's see.
So while that's happening, you might end up seeing my back, or you might see the full GoPro. We have a delay between what we can see live, but either way, you'll see something, which is cool.
So why is that floor box 1, but it's labeled as 2?
Because that's sort of the story of this building a little bit, is that things get labeled wrong and you have to plug things in. So for some things, it shows up as floor box 2, which is why we labeled it as such.
Yeah.
But that Crestron panel thinks that floor box 1 is floor box 2 for some things.
I had to swap it out.
Yeah. So,
So
you know.
I guess when we have a finished video, this is where we'll start. With you with that GoPro talking about the room.
I think the behind the scenes reel could be pretty good though.
No, it's really not that good.
No,
I mean, I'd like to think it was good. Andy could maybe see this better. I think he kind of.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I kind of.
We're good now. We're good now.
Man.
It's. If you were really communicating, you're not communicating.
What we should have thought about is how far away from you the touch panel could be, so that maybe we should have strapped this thing to your head.
Yeah, exactly. I think that might have been a better idea.
So they can see what's on my head.
You're good now.
Now we're completely
They can
good.
see the GoPro head cap.
This thing just got a little bit better, but let's take it all the way now.
Please, I think they want it at this point. They're begging for it.
Begging for it. So they know about the screens. I mean, even if it was a little bit black, you can see the screens down there. We've got our old green screen. This is actually a fun little side fact. We brought that over from our old office, the old DTLT Today studio.
Yeah.
Over there. We used to have the couch. Couch is no more,
That's
but
right.
the screen lives on in this space for now. And so we've got those plugged in, and so despite the bad labeling, we sent what was on that screen to the projector, which sends it out on the live stream.
That's right.
How's
You
it going, Andy?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Have a great night, buddy.
You guys can see
Have a
me
great
now.
weekend.
Could you keep the live stream on so we had just like better viewer counts?
Yeah, just keep yours going.
We have 16 iPads. You could open it up on every single one.
I'll get my iPhone on.
All right, doctor. See you on the other side.
So, whiteboards, the floor boxes, like I mentioned, I can open up this one and tell me, Jim,
Yes.
if I line up right, because I gotta get down here. Can they see into it? Or
Yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
doing good.
So this floor box is one of two different ones where we can actually plug a podium in. And I'll show you that podium in 2 seconds, but so all of those inputs you see go to a separate mobile sort of podium where you can also present from. Of course, you can also do it wirelessly as well. But that's one of two, and you'll actually see the podium behind, sort of. Yeah, it's back there.
Want me to go over by it?
Yeah, and I've actually got a mixer on it right now.
This
but
is the podium.
yeah, so that podium's on wheels in 2 different places. We can plug that in, and people could present from that as well. You'll notice between the 2 projectors up here is the other camera, which is not facing us because it's not working at the moment. So we only have that one live right now, hence the GoPro action, or else this would be a little bit more nice. But
Yeah.
I like the mobile action. I think it makes you feel like you're really a part of the room.
I agree.
So
You get perspective.
So there's that.
It's like Jason Cam in Halloween.
Right, and I can push this
Or
along.
Michael
now.
Myers.
So this is good because it's on wheels, so I can actually, since I'm tethered to it, we can see how far this will take me. All right, about that far, and let's see. Yeah, so we're this far. So they can see the server rack. So this back corner is the server rack here, and this is where all the equipment is. And then, as you can see, we've been playing around a little bit. We've got stuff pulled out of it. We've got things plugged in. You know, what I'd realized, yesterday or so, was that what's kind of nice about this is the fact of something that went wrong. There's no HVAC in that tiny little space that it goes in. So that actually gets pushed in, and it's supposed to be flush with the wall other than up top there. But they didn't put any air into it. And it's got these major fans that blow really hot to blow all the hot air out, but there's nowhere for it to go. So they said, we can't put it back there. Even if the fans are off, it's still going to overheat being in that space, so we have to keep it out. And by virtue of it having to stay out like this, I started peeking at where things were plugged in, how things were connected, and starting to realize, well, this is plugged here, but we also have an output that we can take to the computer and go into a Google Hangout. And so starting to imagine some of those possibilities, which I think is useful. But I don't know that I ever would have pulled this rack out if it wasn't already out there and displayed for us to see.
Yeah. It's
So-
like fortuitous that they didn't do it right.
Right. So we've got a cable running along here, which we were using previously. That's actually an SDI cable because we wanted to figure out a way, and we did, to bring into a Google Hangout exactly what you all are seeing with the live stream, which makes this a really great teleconferencing space because when we talk to the folks who installed this equipment, we've got one room that's your like teleconferencing video space.
Yeah.
And the downside of it is the first thing we ask is, so can you do Skype and WebEx and that kind of stuff? And they go, oh no, you get an IP address that you connect to another university who has those like really expensive systems. And that's like that's your teleconference video conference. And we're like, that's awful.
Yeah.
Everybody just uses
It's not a
Skype.
solution.
Yeah. So they said it can't be done. It, these Polycom, Cisco, those kind of things only do it, which isn't wrong. However, these are HD.
It's not
cameras.
wrong, it's just asinine.
But these are HD cameras. They have the standard connections. They have converter boxes in there. It's just a matter of running the right cables. So
Yeah.
we ran one into Thunderbolt, into the computer, and had it as an input. And we were, I did a Google Hangout today with David Morgan.
Yeah,
from Emory.
absolutely, and you were showing him the whole room, and
Yeah.
and so what we have here, you can point to them up there, Tim. You'll see in the ceiling, we have these ceiling microphones. And these ceiling microphones are not what we're using right now, because we're still trying to figure out that input and how to get that. But those will capture the room beautifully. So you'll have, if you're having, like we have the desk set up like a seminar. So I teach an internet course in here. And so this would capture the discussion and maybe project that out for Paul Bond, who co-teaches the class for me. We have him on one of these screens right here, right? So Paul Bond will be coming in through one of these. Whoa, he'll be coming in, Jesus. He'll be coming in through the front room right next to where everyone is. And that will actually, it didn't break anything. And that will actually be another presence in the classroom, and he can hear. And it really is based on this mobile technology and the fact that you can hear him. And I mean mobile, like this big mobile screen. It really felt like he was a part of the classroom. It was really cool. Let me pick this up.
Yeah, so in a space like this, I mean, you've got a lot of moving parts as I'm moving the screen right here. And so, one thing that's really cool is, while there's a potential for things to go wrong, this space is not a scheduled classroom at all. It is not used regularly, and it is owned by DTLT for anything that we schedule. We have a Google Calendar, and we use that to schedule demos for things, but it's also very much like a research and development space. And I think that's really unique for Mary Washington. It's not something we've ever had before. Classroom space is at a premium. It's a luxury to be able to have a space that's not scheduled regularly, but it really changes, I think, some of the focus for what you can do in here, because things can fail. You can unplug things. You can say let's try this without fear of disrupting a class that's coming in an hour. you know what the space availability is, and you can be free to try new things. And so I'm really excited by some of the stuff that we can do in here. You know, part of it for us is starting to imagine the possibilities. So for Jim's internet course, you know, how do you bring a remote professor who's co-teaching with you in and make them feel like they're a part of the class, not just in terms of their video showing up for the students, but for that professor who's coming in remotely to also be able to see and interact with them, for them to be able to see not just the video, but also the content that students are putting up, which I think is kind of cool. I think we might have forgotten to mention, like, all of these screens, while they have the inputs on them down here, you're not limited to them. We're using something called Crestron Air Media, which is sort of similar to the Apple TV
That's cool.
AirPlay stuff. You know, it works pretty good. The nice thing about it is that it works for Mac and for PC.
Yeah,
And so what happens, go ahead and flip.
I will. I'll do it right now. So I'll jump on. So this is my computer here, and just say I'm a student in the class. And last night we were having presentations, and a bunch of students actually got on and threw out their computer. So I'm going to go on, and I have Air Media, a little app on my computer. I have to be on the UMW wireless. I can't be on UMW secured. So there is a kind of a specific wireless I have to join. But once I do that, I can basically jump right on, right? Is this already on? I think you're already on, but that will be like, that's going to be.
That's on the instructor one, but you
Yeah,
can
somebody
flip any
switch
of
it.
them. We have 5 different Air Media inputs. Just don't do it to the floor box unless it's.
Okay, ready? So I'll do it here, and
Yeah.
you'll see how it sets up. I just got to grab the IP. So 10.35.124.95, right?
Yeah, and we're actually going to get like better names so that it's more like a website they go to. Right now, I think the host name is like Air Media 0CBAE6 or something like that, you know, and we can do it something easier like, you know, ITCC.
Or I love you, right? Something like that.
Right.
Like I love you.
So it's prompting you for the app. You open the app.
Yeah,
It asks for the code, and then it'll flip over, right?
it will. So I'm going to get the code. I'm going to connect. It actually knocked me off because of the wireless, but if you just give me a second, I will show you from my own computer here. 24.95. I will actually be able to get on there. And what's the code?
9340.
9340. I should be able to push my stuff up
There you go.
All right, and so there it is. That's my computer right here. I have my tweet deck. You can see that there. The other thing is I can actually split it. So I can go here, right? And I can say, okay, I'm going to put my screen up there, but I wanted a quad view. So I'll put mine in the upper left, and then we can have a couple of other students put theirs up there too. You see how that goes in the corner there?
Yeah, now the codes are back up at the top of the screen, so other people could connect to it and show theirs. But we
Yeah.
also have 5 of these boxes, so that's just one Air Media input. You could throw a completely separate full screen one on the other projector, or any of these LCD displays on here. So, you know, the days of needing VGA adapters and, you know, plugging in, or HDMI even, you know, not really all that necessary, because a lot of folks are on wireless anyway, and this works fairly well. Especially once I think you
Yeah.
have the app, it'll auto-complete some of those addresses. There's a drop-down, so
Yeah, it
if you're
is-
using it in a class, you know, where you're in here somewhat often, like, you know, for us, for sure, but even for others.
It's
it
like
can
a
be seamless.
seminar-sized class, and I would say of the 16 in it, 8 of them are doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's, I hope by the end of the semester, everyone who presents is expected to get their stuff and be able to project their screen. And I think the other thing that you brought up that for me is really powerful about this room is the idea that you can bring people into your class and you can make it seem like they see the students see them. They're a real part of that sense of community and that idea, which is simple in many ways, but really powerful. You know, to have that set up where you can go and basically take care of that seamlessly is really powerful. So I'm interested in kind of bringing more people in, and particularly with the internet course, and experimenting with how you get that sense of presence. So
Yeah. And there's also a lot of opportunities here, I think, for, you know, just basic active learning style group work. Some of this technology was modeled off of a more put together classroom that's downstairs that, you know, has the same idea, but it's 6 pods with screens that are attached to the wall. And the instructor at any point can put anybody's screen anywhere else.
Absolutely.
And so you've got students working individually. You can imagine these LCDs at the 4 corners of the room with tables surrounding them and students working on them, sharing their screens and collaborating. And then at any point you see something awesome going on, you're in the middle of the classroom, you tap a few taps on the Crestron and everybody's screen, including the projectors and the back display, all switch over to what group 1 was working on. So that's just, you know, one idea of ways that you can use it. You know, when a student is having presentations, it's not necessarily, oh, bring your flash drive, plug it into the instructor console, and you got to stand up there and do it necessarily. It can be from right where they are. They can stand, you know, put their stuff up on one screen, and then the instructor hits a couple buttons, and then everybody sees it, you know, all over the room, and then they sit down, and the next person connects and shoots it up, and so you can get pretty fluid in that. So even just thinking of ways that you can make things, you know, work a little bit more seamlessly and quicker and prevent some of those headaches. Of course, you know, you remove one form of technology hurdle and you add 5 more, but
Yeah.
It can also be really interesting, I think.
And I think, I mean, really the thing for me about this room is just, you know, the refocusing into a space for me is interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
watching you go on the rack and do this, and then thinking about, you know, what happens when you relocate. For so much time it was like 500 students and this idea of the massive. And what happens when you turn that internally a little bit and just think about, okay, like, how do we create a massive experience for 15 or 20 students here at Mary Wash?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do we then bring them in that convergence? And we've been doing that with classes like DS-106 and others, but like, to make this truly a laboratory where they can start building and producing, and the class as production house
Right.
is at our fingertips.
Well, and we also,
It's just crazy.
you know, I don't think we're the only group that's been wanting to, like, you know, do some research and development. You know, Jerry Slazak runs our help desk and user support services, and he's also
Yeah.
in charge of classroom design.
Absolutely.
In classroom design, it's like, you know, you can have a lot of interesting ideas and work on some cool things, and then it's like you scramble at the last minute to get something up and running. You might be behind, and then you get it up, you know, in some fashion. But then
Yeah.
classes start and you have to walk away, and then it flips over into a different mode. Like I said, you've got scheduled classes. You can't go in there and say, what if we did this instead? Like, that's off limits, because now you can't change things. You might get a 2-week window at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and that would be a huge luxury. But even then, you're not
Yeah.
really going to rip a whole lot out, because you're on to the next project at that point.
Yeah.
And so a good example of that for Mary Washington is that we don't have much in the way of lecture capture systems. The ability for
No.
professors to record themselves in their class is almost non-existent on our campus. And we've never had it to a really seamless type of experience. And in that server rack back there, we actually have 2 different boxes that we can play with in terms of bringing in both the cameras on the wall, the content on the screens, doing the picture-in-picture. What everybody in the live stream is seeing is actually the output of that box.
Yeah.
And the reason I pulled it out of that box is because the output from that box allows you to do those side-by-side, picture-in-a-picture, full screen, flipping around, and those kind of things. It's perfect for a live broadcast, but it's even better for a full screen experience and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and it's just cool to be able to kind of just think about what's possible in the room.
Yeah.
And hopefully at some point, like Darcy says, you know, Darcy's doing work on his campus. They're building a new technology
Right.
center.
I've
So
seen-
come here, like, what are we doing? What can you learn from what we've done?
Right.
And what we are now stuck with?
Yeah.
And how would you want to see that differently? Like, there is even things about this room, as amazing as it is, that we are immediately like, oh, maybe we should have thought about this, or having another input here, or just some technical stuff that's hard to imagine when it's still conceptual.
Yeah.
But now it's actually physical, and we can get in there and hack it a little bit and make it work.
Hit swap for me real quick, so it goes back to the video, and I'm gonna
Absolutely.
unattach myself here
I think that's a good idea.
and come back over.
Now, Chris Hooks, I think you've been watching, which is fun. I think there's some other folks. I don't know, Tom Fullerton is still out there. I know we had people like Victoria Russell, who was watching. Barbara Sawhill said the audio was really low. So
For everybody or just for me?
I don't know. I wonder if that's because we're walking around the actual room a bit.
Yeah, I think
so.
part of that for sure is because the microphones that we're using.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
You like that?
you're really coming in on me. Here.
Yeah, I want to be close.
Okay.
I just want to show what's possible.
All right. The microphones that we're using, and I can unstrap this now, are these tabletop microphones that are meant for you really to be, they're at the middle
Yeah,
of the
here.
table and you're talking into it. So if I'm facing away from the table, they really don't pick up that much. And just in general, directionally speaking, the ceiling mics will be a lot better. So,
Ooh.
oh,
Ooh.
wow. Do you see what I do?
That's right. That's the love of the job.
Yeah,
For love of the job.
it's for the audience.
Yeah, that is for the audience.
But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, the recording stuff I think could be really interesting. The live stream, we've already got going some of that stuff, and
Yeah.
we've been kind of hacking things together for now. But I think we can get it to a seamless experience. I've read some things where you integrate it with Crestron to the point where you come into a classroom and it's already scheduled for you to where you just press a button to say we're going to start now.
Yeah.
And it starts recording. It's picking up the cameras, it's picking up your inputs the same way we're doing this broadcast. And then at the end you hit stop, and it's automatically sent off to a server, converted to a format, and uploaded online. And 2-3 hours later, after all those conversions are complete, you get an email with a link that it's already embedded on a website, and you can go drop it in. So, I mean, we could get to that point. We may
Yeah.
never get to that point, and we may decide we want to go in a completely different direction. But having the capability to do stuff like that is just, so foreign to us and in that regard. And so,
I could see us going in that direction. I could see in this being a kind of really a tricked out recording space for classes that want to share with other people. And I started thinking about we have right now class visits where people come. Ryan Brazell did a lot of great work bringing students up, bringing faculty up, talking about Demanding One's Own, UMW blogs. What if we had faculty who really wanted to bring in a speaker, and they could do it by Skype, but the room, and they've had problems, and it's just a pain in the ass, and so they kind of resist it. But what if we said, no, don't resist it. We have a kind of seamless solution for you for that classroom. And it's going to be easy, and it's going to be high tech, and it's going to be a great experience for the person you invite in. They're going to feel like they're a part of the classroom. That's a real kind of, it's not like fully online development, or it's actually a really unique ability to say, you have friends or people who are experts in the field, and you want to bring them into your class for a day and make them part of the experience. Here's how.
Yeah, and I feel like, certainly you've pushed on the boundaries of things like broadcasting and bringing in folks and doing some really interesting stuff in your class. But you want to get it to the point where it doesn't take an instructional technologist to
Yes.
throw 25 wires together to do something. If WordPress was that hard, no one would blog. If broadcasting was that hard, you'd never see anyone on video. It's at the point where people start really doing some interesting stuff, it's because you've made it easy enough to where others can adopt it. And so I think for us, lecture capture isn't about creating this mass archive of video or moving completely online or anything like that. It's more about, if we make this easy enough, then a faculty member can feel like it's accessible to the point of yeah, let me do my class, let me start recording all my stuff and put it up there. And then some really amazing things can happen from that we haven't even seen before, because the idea of somebody hauling a camera in there and making it happen.
Because it's one thing to want to have a Skype experience with a scholar outside your field, and you could probably do that pretty well in the classroom. It's another thing to make sure that they can feel that they're present with the students, and the students are present with them, and they have this kind of discursive relationship. That's another layer that's harder to do. It's another layer to say then record it and get a version of it that you can share and archive. So between the first, which is simple and most people can do, and they can do it in classrooms now. The second, which is a different kind of more, I think, richer experience. And the third, which is an archival, high quality kind of capture of what was happening in the classroom for others to experience. Well, in this classroom, we would hope with a touch of a button, any faculty could get the third multi-layered experience. And we hope we can too, right? Like
Well,
that's
that-
what we're trying to go for right now.
And not just archival, but I think also for the live stuff too. The
Streaming.
ability for you to bring in a wider audience, for you to invite your network out there to participate. You know, it's like for someone who hasn't really dived into all of this stuff and doesn't have the tools at their disposal, that's really hard to do. You know, the Summer of
right.
Oblivion and those kind of ideas were really hard
They were
back
hard as
then,
shit.
and it took a lot of equipment, and it still takes a lot of equipment, but when it's built into a classroom and you can start to program and automate pieces of that to where someone says, oh, I can actually like design an experience and bring in a network to participate in my class with me.
There you go.
You know, then, you know, I think we're gonna see some interesting stuff come out that's not just digital storytelling, not just the disciplines that we've been involved in, but a much wider swath at Mary Washington that's ready to be exposed to the world.
I think that's a really good way to think about it. And I think when you think about the classroom that way, it makes you really excited about hacking the physical for the digital or for the networked, right? It's like the new aesthetic, the idea that what's happening in our physical spaces of classrooms are going to more represent what's happening in our relationships and our negotiations online. And the two are going to really start to blur in some powerful ways. And I think this classroom for us would be the kind of model to think about what that looks like.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's where the incubator stands in.
And there's a real tension, I think, between the institutional and you know, the hack. You know, especially in a
Yes.
room like this. You know, I mean, at the same time that I'm taping a GoPro to my head and strapping wires directly from the server rack, I've also got a Crestron panel here that's completely proprietary. I cannot program it.
Yeah.
I can't change any of the buttons on it without spending thousands of dollars to pay someone to do that.
It's true.
So there's a real tension between that, but at the same time, what that can also afford you is an interface, you know, with the touch screen, the seamless experience with all this other equipment. So like, how do you navigate that? How do you push against it in some ways? You know, if they want to, you know, use their proprietary stuff, are there ways to use the recording equipment but push it automatically to YouTube or to our media account, you know, in other places? You know, how can we push against that in really meaningful ways and still make it a seamless experience? It's probably for me going to be, you know, a real focus of this space.
It's why we're bringing in, you know, several people in November, but particularly Grant Potter, to see what he thinks. I mean, I was thinking when we were talking about the space, the idea of having these cameras, 3 or 4 cameras that we have in the room, act as the eye of an absent professor who maybe is controlling those cameras through a remote control joystick, and who's coming on as a persona, something like Dr. Oblivion, and like you're having an experience that's kind of melding that idea of the virtual and the physical, where they come to a classroom and, you know, they're in a building that's very much technically involved, and the classroom becomes a kind of departure point for a really kind of transmedia experience, where the physical matters, but it's not all. You know what I mean? So it's just part of a kind of more blurred one idea of mediation as we think about teaching and learning. So it's interesting to think if we can start really, I think that would be a bigger hack and maybe one that's beyond us, but really start pushing this to a level where this is an automated classroom for capturing and for remotely viewing and surveying and building in layers of surveillance and understanding, watching the students and being able to tell what they do in some creepy but important ways, you know what I mean? So that would be the next layer of all of this in the spring. A DS-106 class designed specifically for this room. Right? That would be sick. Right?
And we'll look back on videos like this where I'm taping GoPros to my head and spending 30 minutes trying to get the live stream up, and we'll laugh.
Well, that's when it started.
We'll talk about like, oh, remember when? So yeah.
That's right.
So it'll be cool.
It will be cool.
You know, we've talked long enough about it now, but there's so much more to come. And you know, now that we're starting to get into this habit, we'll definitely start streaming out more of this, recording it, getting it out there for folks, so that we can share sort of our journey in this, because I'm sure we're not alone.
I bet you there's going to be more and more buildings like this coming online. Like we look to the Cox Center at Emory
Right.
more than a decade ago when we built this, and I'm sure there's people like the basement of Duke's Library.
Mhm.
I mean, there are spaces like this all over the country. I do think that we have a particularly interesting instantiation of it with
Yeah.
the Convergence Center. And I think one that people are going to really start taking some interest in, because it really is a unique building. And maybe part of what we'll do with the DTLT Today Revive is actually try and get out in the building
Yeah.
and show you what it looks like, because this is just one room of an entire 4-story building of
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Cool.
So,
Till then,
thanks for watching.
bye-bye.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye. All right. Are we still recording?
Yeah, I've got to go turn off the stream somewhere button over there, but this will go into the B-roll. Cut it out along with the first 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, I think we have about 5 minutes that we can keep.
I'm going to duplicate it so that people can watch the B-roll. No one ever will.
No, of course they won't.
Yeah.
But that's the point of it.
Do you think they're still watching? now?
Because someone archivally will come back and say, wow, did you remember when they
Right.
talked about the building
Yeah.
that one time?
So I didn't get to watch
That
the
was
stream.
really bad.
Rip it off.
Yeah, the stream is interesting.
This is what we saw. Yeah. The recursion stuff. It's fun. Yeah, the closed captioning thing is very interesting, actually.
Exactly, it is.
You know, and that's one place where, you know, if we go the YouTube route, you can actually go pretty well with it because you can upload SRT files to YouTube. You can do some of their automated stuff to give you a head start. It doesn't usually detect very well, but, you know, even if it's every other word is correct, that saves you a little bit of time maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, we've got, you know, a swath of student aids just waiting to be turned into, you know, child labor. So I think in general, we've got a good model.
Yeah, but we do pay them. For the record. Pay them better than most student aides on campus now.
Yeah, the closed captioning thing, in general, I think, you know, we've got to get to a media thing in general before we can even get to closed captioning. You know, we've jumped around to so many different services.
Yeah,
and
like
it's always been
you're
a
a
question
million.
mark.
You're a million miles ahead of us, Mark.
Yeah. Well, we don't even have a domain of one's own window display, much like Oklahoma University.
Yeah, I saw that.
University
That
of
was
Oklahoma.
Very, 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 very sad.
We're big fans. I wasn't sad, like, awesome. Drop the ball as I'm passing the goal. What do you throw me under the bus here? Dedication.
Where the heck is the couch? The cuddle couch.
Still
You know,
over-
we could bring the cuddle couch here, but I don't think so. No blue
Yeah.
lamps.
Yeah. It's over in DuPont right now, but yeah, I don't think it's coming over here. We've got other
No.
furniture.
The cuddle
It's
couch.
it's a new era.
It is a new era.
in
for
many
DTLT.
regards.
It is
So,
a new era in many regards.
Yeah.
In the good regards.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure. I want to do like maker TV stuff too. Like we've got the 3D printer, we've got Raspberry Pis. Like we can jump in here and put together a Raspberry Pi one day. You know,
Totally.
like that kind of stuff. You know, get away from just, you know.
You know, reclaim hosting, blah, blah, blah. Domain of one's own, blah, blah, blah. UMW blogs, blah, blah, blah.
How about
DS
that?
106, blah, blah,
WordPress.
blah. What the hell don't we do? We, the vertical and the horizontal. We're Ed Tech, baby. Coming to you live from Fredericksburg,
Coming
Virginia.
at ya! Alright, I'm killing it. Just the button.